Hello, my name is Jacob Monk. Welcome to this little video about the coming election in Russia. Well, I'm going to support someone in Russia. I'm quite sure the Americans, they want to interfere in the Russian elections. They used to do like that, not only in the Russian elections, but also in all other countries' elections, especially if these countries are not member of NATO or, I would say, client prostitute countries running after USA, no matter how illegal and immoral the actions of Americans' foreign policy is. Well, Russia is not a client state of USA, so I have a great deal of respect for Russia. And I want to tell you what is my opinion about the coming Russian election. First of all, I don't want Russia to break down as they did in 1990. Boris Yeltsin and Gorbachev, these two fools, they nearly destroyed the Soviet Union. They replaced it by a liberal, pro-American government, I would say some kind of chaos, where the Russians had no influence on their own country, and all kind of values and natural resources was stolen by foreign oligarchs. Well, I hope that Russia will continue on the course that Vladimir Putin has used for the last 10 years. Yes, I think that's a good idea. But nevertheless, I want to support the opposition of Vladimir Putin. And what is the opposition of Vladimir Putin? The opposition of Vladimir Putin is the Communist Party in Russia. It is the biggest opposition force. There are also some minor pro-Western liberal groups, but they have only very few voters behind them, so they are not any kind of real opposition. They are more like people in the entertainment industry, like Pussy Riot, getting $50,000 from USA every time they make another action against the church and against the government in Russia. Well, I don't like Pussy Riot, and I don't like liberalism. Liberalism is a very bad idea that opens up for the oligarchs, the money men and the owners and the rulers of the press to run the whole society. The stupid voters believe that they are the one who run the society, but in the real world it is the deep state, the big capitalist, the military industrial complex, working behind the surface, invisible. It is the invisible power that runs the society. That is the way it is in USA today, and I don't want Russia to be run the same way. Therefore, I support the Communist Party in Russia. When I was a young man, I was a communist. But today, communism is quite another thing that it was in the 70s. Today, to understand what communism is, you have to look at Vietnam and China. Communism today is, well, the word means cooperation. The word means that citizens has to work together. Communism is coming from the Greek word. Sorry, I don't remember the Greek word right now. Communitas, I believe it is. No, it was Italian. But you know, communism means that people should work together. It is a democratic ideal. And I think that Russia should keep on being a democratic state. And therefore, I want the Communist Party to take power in Russia exactly the same way as they have in Vietnam and China. I want the Russian state to be strong, and I'm afraid that Vladimir Putin alone, well, he's a very intelligent, he's a very good man and a very strong man, but sometime he'll not be there anymore. Maybe in 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, I don't know how long time it will take, but in the future he will be gone. And then we need a state structure that can give resistance to the foreign forces trying to split up Russia, because the American ideals and the NATO ideals, their attempts is to make every small region of Russia being independent of the central state. That means to split Russia up in 50 different small regions fighting against each other. This is exactly what they have done in the Middle East. This is what they are trying to do in Libya. They tried to do it in Syria, and they had some kind of success. Because NATO and America, they know that if the enemy is divided in many different sects fighting against each other, then the enemy has no power at all. And USA do not want a multipolar world where different great powers can find a balance and rule their own sphere of interest and making agreement to make the world a better place and to go against pollution and the threat of war. There are so many international things that has to be fixed, and they will not be fixed as long as Russia and USA is fighting against each other. And the reason for this fight is first of all USA, because in USA the weapon industry, they earn a lot of money by starting up wars. And this is the same reason they want to divide Russia in many small regions fighting against each other. To prevent that, I believe the Communist Party is the strongest force going against imperialism. Putin is a very good man. He is some kind of a hero, but Putin is only one single person. In the future, I think Russia needs a very, very strong state, exactly like they have in China and Vietnam. And therefore, I wish all the best for the opposition to Vladimir Putin, and that is for the Communist Party. I don't want communism, old style, to be reintroduced in Russia. No, not at all. I want a state where the state is run and working together with the Communist Party, but with an economy that is very liberal and giving force to private initiative and private responsibility, because a whole state-controlled economy is not a good idea. That's what they learned in China, and that is the reason that in China and also Vietnam, they have had growth about 7% every year in average, while Europe and USA has between 1/2 and 1% growth. So I believe this says all about what is the best kind of economy, what is the best kind of society. So therefore, as I told, I support the opposition at the coming election in Russia. Thank you.